Oh,
Legends and Leapers.
leader, you are a leader. You are a leader. Rising right out the ranks. You're a leader. Lessons will teach you just how to reach your endless ambitions. Oh, yeah. Look at yourself in the mirror. Turn that frown upside down. Show what you're working with. You can't depend on someone else to see your future. That part is up to you. Be a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader.
All right, good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are viewing us today. My name is Ramon Lowe. I'm the Director of Membership and Industry Engagement for the Airport Minority Advisory Council. And if you are here, it's because you are here for our monthly Legends and Leapers webinar, or I guess we used to try to name it the Rick and Darrell Smith Show, but that might have been a little too long and Lauryn kind of vetoed it. So with that, before I hand it over to Ricky and Lauryn, just a couple of house announcements. There are three of them. One, if you have not already, please make sure you renew your membership. We have sent out some automated emails, just a bit of a casual reminder to please renew your membership for 2026. And please remember that your membership helps fuel our advocacy efforts. And of course, our advocacy efforts are for you. And, you know, there's a lot of news that's going on right now with the DBE and ACE program, and we want to make sure that we preserve and protect those programs going forward. So please make sure you renew your membership. And the reason, or one of the benefits to renewing your membership, I'll go over right now: webinars, exclusive webinars, member exclusive content, one of which is tomorrow, October 30th. It is a webinar reviewing the personal narratives for DBE and ACDE certifications. Just remember, if you are on this webinar right now, or this program right now, tomorrow is for airports and certifying agencies only. And this is where we'll discuss how to better understand the current DBE certification regulations related to the non-presumptive eligibility and gain tips on reviewing social disadvantaged personal narratives. It's a lot to say. It's been a long day already. Also, November 12th, this one is more member exclusive as well. Another webinar on the IFR, but this is for primes, developers, and consultants only. So if you are a member of AMAC and you are a prime, a developer, or a consultant, and this webinar is for you, please make sure you go to our event calendar and register for those events. So with that out the way, I will now hand it over to Mr. Smith and Miss Mangum Reed.
Well, thank you, Ramon. It is good to see you all. I think it's been a couple sessions since I've been here. AMAC and I had a bit of a contract dispute that we've worked out over branding rights and a whole bunch of other stuff, and just how much screen time Lauryn actually gets. And so we were able to work that out. And I think you'll probably notice that I'm going to get a little more screen time than she will get. And so I know you all are happy that I'm here. But welcome to Legends and Leapers. This is an amazing show because we always have amazing guests. And today we're certainly not falling short of that. Mara and Mica, I'm sure will impress you as other guests have, and Lauryn's going to do an amazing job. Well, she's going to do a job introducing them. But before she does that, I'm just going to remind you that this program is aimed to bring together an individual who may be more established in the industry, not necessarily older in age, but more established in the industry, and pair that with that person with someone who may be up and coming, isn't necessarily younger, but someone whose career relative to the legend, is still on the rise. Could still be a rock star, but is on the rise. And hopefully we get some kind of a difference of opinion, but sometimes we find that they think alike. We don't give them questions in advance, although according to Lauryn, we had a group that actually gave us a bunch of questions in advance. That's no. They're hearing the questions for the first time. As a matter of fact, sometimes Lauryn asks a question that I'm hearing for the first time and vice versa. So we think that adds a little edge and a little excitement. And for Lauryn and I, some more fun to the program. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to the amazing Lauryn Mangum Reed, and she'll be reading the introduction. So don't be too impressed if her speech is fluid. Okay.
Well, Ricky, thank you for taking the first 10 minutes of today's Legends and Leapers. Clearly making up for lost time. Viewership was up in your absence, but we'll see what happens today. So, welcome back.
Good to be back.
All right, so I'm really excited. We have two amazing individuals. One's bio is going to require my inhaler. The other one is going to be pretty short and sweet, but that doesn't take away from how amazing she is. So I'm just going to pull the Band-Aid off first and introduce for those who do not know, Mara Rosales as our legend. She is the founder of Rosales Law Partners, LLP. She has extensive experience in airport, transportation, government law, and public policy. She served as chair of the Airports and Transportation Group at Renee Sloan Holtz Sakai LLP and was the head of the airport practice group at the law firm of Myers Nav in San Francisco. Before entering private practice in 2004, Mara served as the San Francisco International Airport's general counsel for over 10 years and was FSO's deputy director for regulatory and legislative affairs. As chief in-house counsel for SFO, then a $590 million enterprise, Mara handled legal issues related to the $3 billion 10-year terminal facilities expansion project and airport operations. The legal matters included advice on retail opportunities within the new terminal, access to SFO via public transit, including ground transportation providers, commercial leases, airport procedures within a high security facility, and intergovernmental transportation matters with SFO's neighboring public entities in the San Mateo County. During her tenure at SFO, she gained direct experience with over 300 public agency construction projects, including the International Terminal General Building Contract, the BART to SFO construction project, and the Air Train Light Rail System contract. Notably, Mara negotiated a project labor agreement with the San Mateo Building and Construction Trades Council for the airport's multi-billion-dollar project and successfully defended that agreement with the California courts, before the California courts. Before joining SFO, Mara served for 9 years as a San Francisco deputy city attorney in the government law division. There, she developed special expertise in First and 14th Amendment issues, public law, including public records, open meeting laws, and public contracting. Mara has a distinguished 30-plus year career in specialized area of equity and inclusion in public contracting. As general counsel and deputy city attorney, she authored and defended several minority and local business contracting programs. Rosales Law Partners and Mara have represented several public agencies, including Phoenix Sky Harbor International, Los Angeles International, Oakland International, LA Metro, BART, and the state of Oregon on federal business program issues. She was led outside counsel representing the city of Atlanta in equal business opportunity legislation in the California Department of Transportation and Associated General Contractors, San Diego chapter versus Caltrans matter, and an action challenging constitutionally of California's highway program. During her career, she has handled more than 150 civil litigation matters in California, state and federal courts, including more than 30 appellate matters, obtaining over 18 published decisions. Mara's diverse national practice includes representing cities, states, public entities, airport concessionaires, construction-related companies, and major private sector institutional clients. I just want people to know that the actual law, like things were actually cited in her bio as well. So she is a lawyer, an attorney, like seriously. Our leaper today, Misha Anderson, is the senior director of airport access and business opportunity at Denver. Dedicated to expanding opportunities for small businesses, ensuring accessibility for all, and supporting the growth and success of diverse entrepreneurs. She's also vice chair of ACI's Business Diversity Committee. Whew, thank you, Misha. I'm so excited to have you both. I'm done, Ricky. That's it. You can take the rest of the show.
Whew. Is that everybody? That's a lot.
Like the actual court, like everything was cited, and I was trying to not. Oh yeah, Mara, you're a bad girl.
Both of you are. Bad ladies, amazing ladies. So the group wants to hear from how amazing you are. So let's get right into it. So my first question is, it's no secret we're going through a pretty challenging period right now, within the industry and outside of the industry, professionally and perhaps personally. Stress levels are up, anxiety levels are up, uncertainty is abound. We just don't know, where the space is going.
Way to start on a high note, Ricky.
How do you get through periods like this? What is it that you do to position yourself, because you're both leaders in your own right, both inside your families, I'm sure, and professionally, and so you have to be in the right frame of mind to hold things together. How do you prepare yourself mentally to get, and physically perhaps, to kind of get through these very difficult periods?
Does any?
I can go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think for me, the reality of it is nothing happens in moments of panic, nothing productive, at least for me. And so I can't spend too much time in panic mode and chaos mode, because things need to move forward. And so, I kind of have my board of directors, I'll call them, as far as individuals who are also in this space, of as far as checking in with them, also checking in with me, and like, hey, what are you doing to move this forward? What are some roadblocks you all are running into, or barriers? How are you overcoming them? And having those honest conversations and kind of keeping in contact with those individuals also helps me stay grounded, and again, helps me think of what can we do to move forward or pivot.
Okay.
Yes, and I would add, I would agree. What I find for me, having practiced in the area of constitutional law pretty much my entire career, it was one of my favorite classes in law school, and I feel really privileged to be able to live it day to day. But because I've lived it day to day professionally, in many ways legally, as a teenager, I really liked the idea, and and in college, of standing up for people's civil rights. I mean, I think that's what led me to practice in this area of law, and frankly, I'm fighting being depressed, if you will, or I mean, I'm an optimist, I'm an eternal optimist, but when my own eternal optimism is kind of being, beat up, when I read, and I read, right, people talk, but, I'm reading these cases, and I can't keep up with all the cases. So of course I focus mainly on the ones that affect my law practice and my clients, but it's really a tough time here. The Latino community is facing significant challenges. I never thought that I would have to walk around with a copy of my US passport on my phone, as an example, to advise my kids. I mean, my parents and grandparents came in the 40s, and yet, I'm turning to people in the community, make sure you carry your US passport, right? And here's the number and so forth. But on the flip side, the level of solidarity that I'm feeling, both from colleagues, the federal bench. I went to an event, the San Francisco Bar Association. It was a fundraiser for the Diversity and Justice Center, PACT, and there was just like a reference, like so-and-so federal judges are within a standing ovation. Okay, I've never seen that. So yeah, it's but the good news is that I feel like if we all stick together, the attorneys, the community, the allies, everyone stands together, I think, we just have to get through it. I mean, so to your point about how do we, my frame of mind, legally, professionally, of course, I'm staying ahead of the issues, advising clients. There's a ton of questions coming from clients on the DBE program in particular, and the MWBE arena as an example, but also on the immigration side, I get quite a bit of need. I'm not an immigration attorney, but I'm learning immigration law. But yeah, sticking together. Massages, right?
There we go.
No therapy yet, but yeah.
It's funny. I thought Ricky was gonna kind of like start with the softball, maybe just get his feet wet, get back into things. No, he came gun blazing with question one, which I'm gonna say he stole my question, because I was gonna ask something along those lines. But Mara, you kind of talked about massages. I want to know, you both talked about what you're doing from a professional standpoint. And just that solidarity. And Misha, you mentioned your board of directors, right, that you can lean on from a professional standpoint. But I think right now, and I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper, Ricky, what are you all doing personally to keep your sanity, keep your spirits up, stay optimistic, etc., to be able to lead in the positions that you're in?
I can go first for this. I mean, so Lauryn, at least for you, you know, it's no surprise. I have two littles. And so they don't care about an IFR, a DBE, a ACDB, LMNOP. None of that matters to them. And so for me, work has to stay at work. Like I have to create boundaries. And so dealing with those little ones, you know, they keep me distracted. They will. And so it's kind of in, like I mentioned, the board of directors professionally, I have them personally too. And you know, sometimes I'm like, how are y'all dealing with these two littles? Hey, was your morning drop off similar to mine? Those kind of conversations. So, you know, it's always trying to make sure that I'm showing up as the best version of myself in those different places, but specifically at home, because I got a husband and two littles who none of this matters to them. So I got to do what I got to do. And like I said, be really strict in how I develop those boundaries.
Compartmentalize them.
Yeah, and I need to learn more how to do that because, you know, my kids are grown. So with them, it's like debating and talking. And have you seen this? Have you seen that? You know, neither one of them are attorneys. So, and, you know, one of them lives in Portland, the other one lives in New York. So, you know, they've got different perspectives on, you know, the impacts over there. But because, you know, they grew up with a mother who's a lawyer, you know, they're very savvy on all the civil rights issues, et cetera. And so so for me, part of it is, I'm very deeply involved in the community in San Francisco. I'm a native born and raised here. So I sit on 3 nonprofit boards. None of them have to do with law and these issues. They deal with affordable housing, economic development, the arts, you know, we're celebrating the Dia de los Muertos, you know, this weekend, you know, all these kinds of things that really kind of bring you into community. And yeah, I think like it's true what they say, strength in numbers. But people, the allyship that you see here, at least in San Francisco in the Bay Area, people are savvy, they understand, they get it, and people talk. You know, they're talking to each other. The community is talking. So I feel that's a good defense, if you will. Yeah, because it's. But professionally, what I try to do is, you know, because my brain is. You know, I learned this at SFO and at the city. My brain is to get ahead of the issues. Like, what about this? What about that? Yeah. So it's that energized feeling, but I need to be siloed more, just like me.
Well,
Compartmentalize.
I gotta compartmentalize. Oh my
Yeah,
God, to do
it's
it.
hard.
well, with that in mind, you're both leaders, right? You're leaders in your respective families and in the profession. And there are people who either knowingly or unknowingly kind of look to you, right? How they get through this is to some degree influenced by how they observe you getting through this. So do you feel an obligation to hold it together or to be strong through this for them? Or in your mind, I just need to do it for me? What kind of obligation do you feel to lead through this?
I think for me, it's for me, but I'm also very honest and transparent with my team about, you know what, like, I don't know who else has ideas. Like, so sure, in title, I might be a leader, but at the end of the day, I don't know it all. And just because your title may not be manager, director, or whatever, you might have a great idea that I was not even thinking about that might help me. So I mean, I think for me, like I said, moving forward and pivoting, that's not just something professionally, that's also personally, but I don't know it all. And I am not ashamed to say I don't have the answer. So if someone else does, I mean, obviously I have to be mindful of my audience. Like I'm not necessarily gonna go to my boss and be like,
Yeah.
I'm in panic mode. But I am honest and transparent, especially even with my team of like, hey, here is a problem. who has ideas for solutions. I might have an idea, but someone else might have something better, or even a way to improve the idea that I have. So, I mean, I think leaders show up in different ways, and it doesn't always have to be me. And I welcome that.
Good. All right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm more of a collaborative person, you know, like in the community, like that's why I sit on so many boards, you know, I've got the law firm, I've got the 3 boards, but you know, this is my hometown. You know, work closely with, you know, City Hall. I used to be, you know, with City Hall as an employee for many years. So I just feel like for me, there's a component that people come to me because of my prior positions, either with the city or because I'm an attorney. You know, I'm not that, there are not that many people that I know in the community that have legal resources like that can just go. So I get a lot of questions and about things I know nothing about. And then of course I have to read on it before I give an answer. Immigration law is the one that comes most often, most recently, but civil rights is right up there as well. I get the questions like, well, what are we going to do? Well, what are we going to do? How can we do this? And how can we as a country put up with this? And I'm like, okay. So yeah, no, and these are from seasoned professionals, like sometimes. Yeah, I feel an obligation. I've always had an obligation. I feel like, to give my best. And I have, not just to my family, but to the community. And of course to my clients, right? Yep.
Love that.
Lauryn normally awkwardly interrupts here, and so you see that little awkward pause. It's because
It took everything in me, Ricky. I was really trying to abide by your fake demands of having more airtime. So I was gonna just kind of give you a moment because you're two legends and leapers behind. So I didn't know if you had something pressing, but I was ready to actually, you know,
just
pew pew, come
just-
guns
just-
blazing with another one.
just honor the contract. That's all. Honor the contract.
we have an attorney on the line. I must do so.
That's right. Well, I'll jump right in with another one. So in the midst of all this stuff that we've just been kind of talking through, you get this call from, guess it was Ramon, asking you to appear on Legends and Leapers. All right. What did you think when you got that call? What were your thoughts? I mean, was it a good thing, a not so good thing? Did you see it as a benefit? Did you see it as a risk? Did you say, "Yeah, I get to be on the screen with Lauryn," or did you say, "Nah, I don't want to be on the screen with Lauryn"? Kind of what was your reaction? What went through your mind?
I'm happy to jump in here. My first reaction was a little bit like, well, if it's going to be a technical conversation, like on things that are pending, like the IFR, I was a little concerned about giving my opinion, only because I'm still working through the IFR as an example. But you know, when I understood and I knew that it was members only, and there was, you know, a level of confidentiality, and I could keep comments high level, I thought, absolutely, let's do this. This is an important time to hear what folks want to talk about. So that was my first reaction. The second one, of course, was you know, how much, just from a time management, you know, like how much preparation I needed, and Andre said you need no preparation, so then it was easy. It was an easy yes.
One cannot prepare for Legends and Leapers.
One will never be prepared for Ricky.
Whatever.
I think for me, one, it was I felt honored and grateful a little bit, and it was like, oh, me. But also those that know me know I don't necessarily like this kind of situation. Like I can do it. And I don't mind it, but I try to stay away from moments that seem to kind of be like the spotlight. But honestly, was grateful, and who am I to die? Can I turn this down? Like, can I say no?
Answer's no. Can't turn
No. I'd call you.
And I wouldn't have, but just saying, I definitely was a little overwhelmed by it, just because it's like, wow, me? Okay, like, cool. Let's do this.
I love it. So I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball. And I don't like getting too deep into conversations that, we're hearing ever so often, right? But this is going to have a spin. So just stick with me here. So a lot of the airports on the West Coast have been race and gender neutral for a long time, right? That's not the case with the majority of the airports within the country. Where were you when the news dropped that Atlanta's airport stood 10 toes down on their decisions and did not acquiesce to government funding? And what were your thoughts?
So let me tell you, I was at home and I saw it on LinkedIn. And immediately when I saw it, I screenshotted it and I sent it to my husband. And, like snaps, hand claps, like, whoop, shout out to Atlanta. I mean, honestly, like no shade to any other airport, but even mine. But just saying, when we talk about, this is where it's going to sound a little bit unprofessional, but when we talk about stand on business, and keep that same energy, that's where it was for me, because that speaks volumes to basically say, like, our values are our values and you can keep your money. And we're going to keep standing on business. So yeah, no, shout out to ATL. But also shout out to Den.
Frankly, I'd have to think about where was I, and I saw it. But because I at one point, as you mentioned in my bio, that I represented Atlanta, it wasn't a surprise. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. I was like, yep, that makes sense. So I haven't gone into all the detail about, like I haven't picked up the phone and talked to anyone, obviously, in Atlanta about like what was the thinking behind it, but it was a little bit like, yeah, that it's consistent with, I represented Atlanta many years ago on their equal business, city of Atlanta, their equal business opportunity ordinance. And yeah, right on point.
So that was
Well,
me.
for
That
the
was me.
for the record, Lauryn brought that up, not me.
Yes.
That was also me giving Ricky his flowers in a roundabout way. But that brings me to my next question. When has there been a time in either like your professional life, right, where or even personal, that you've had to make a tough decision that wasn't the popular decision, but you knew ethically and morally you needed to stand on business? Has that happened to you before? And what was that situation? And how did you approach it? How did you handle it?
I can start if you'd like, Misha. Okay, so yes, the answer, that has happened, and that has happened often, but it's happened more often when I was an attorney, a deputy city attorney, or the general counsel for San Francisco, the governmental entity. I think as a private attorney, no matter, the clients are more skittish, right? Especially if they're private clients, they're gonna consider risk more. Public sector clients, if they're in California, because I represent agencies around the country, this is California. My sense is San Francisco will stick and has stuck its neck out if the city attorney or the chief lawyer of the office is willing to go there. And so in some of these cases that you didn't cite all the citation to, that out of the Ninth Circuit, and I'm showing my age, I was in my 20s, okay? I was in my early 30s when that stuff happened, okay? That was a long time ago. But I pitched as a young lawyer positions, like after the Croson case was decided, I was a young lawyer, and San Francisco was looking at its minority women business, local business ordinance. And some of the attorneys in the office were like, oh, we're not sure. And I just pitched it. I was like maybe 2 years, 3 years. I mean, I was the chief lawyer. I was a main lawyer on the case, but I only had 3 years in as a lawyer. And I went to the city attorney and I said, what about this? This is a way to get basically to the end game. And she said, to her credit, she said, let's do it. Let's try it. And boom, we won. We won. We were the first case out, first city out post Croson to test Croson, and we won on the minority business piece of it. We had previously won on the woman piece of it and the local piece of it. So when you talk about some of these, whether it's a set aside, a bid preference, goals, whatever, a lot of that comes from those cases in the Ninth Circuit. But if I didn't have that boss as a baby lawyer, I wouldn't have gone very far. So kudos to her, Louise Rennie. Who,
So
by the way, is 90 and she's still practicing law. Okay.
Shout out to Louise. Okay. That's
We
awesome.
need you.
Right? Come back. If she's working, tell her come on.
So to
Mm.
answer your question, Lauren, yes. However, I'm trying to find an example that I can give that doesn't throw potentially anybody under a bus or make anyone side eye anybody. And there's some people on my team that I was like hoping they would throw out an example in the chat. They'd be like, "Oh, use this one," but
They don't have your back right now.
they do. But they probably are also thinking like, "Well, which one can we use?"
No names were all names
I mean,
were.
but I think the reality of it is when you are in positions like this or you work in civil rights or diversity, equity, inclusion, you're in these positions because you are challenging the status quo. That's kind of why you're in these roles. And so it happens in so many different ways. And there's probably simple ones that I could probably use that I'm not even thinking of because it's so much a part of my job as far as challenging the status quo and challenging what everybody thinks is kind of the easy thing or the simple thing to do. So to answer your question simply, yes.
Well, I would say this, Misha, there's nothing shy about you. So earlier you talked about not being comfortable in this space. Now you're bringing a lot of life to the space. Lauren, can I pivot again a little bit? This
Let's
is
go.
this
Let's
is
go.
more
Let's-
a fun question. I think it's fun.
Oh, Lord.
So we've been talking about how we kind of exist in this space that we're all going through. So when you're trying to escape, what moves you most or best? What allows you to escape best? A good movie or a good song? And what's the movie and what's the song?
Do you want me to go first? I'm happy to. I'm less a movie person. I'm more a song person, but it's not a song, it's dancing. I happen to be, my father was one of the co-creators of Latin jazz in San Francisco back in the day in the 50s. And my cousin, one of my cousins, was part of the Santana sound, Latin rock. So
Right.
music, anything and everything, you know, whether it's a birthday or a funeral, you have music. So just dancing, and it's usually salsa, salsa.
Yeah. Well, Mara, there's an opportunity for you to be the first person to dance on Legends and Leapers. We wouldn't.
Ricky, I was gonna go there. I was also thinking, I was like, you know what? We were just talking about Misha's team and changing names to protect the innocent. What she just told us was Carlos Santana, Maria was actually supposed to be Mara, but he had to change the name to protect the innocent. But we know the truth now. You remind us of a West Side Story, okay? Growing up in Spanish Harlem. Mara, we saw what you just did there.
We did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Santana, of course, Carlos Santana is, went to high school in San Francisco, right? And his brothers, so you have the Santana team, the Santana, Carlos Santana, and then you had Malo, his brother, George Santana, and my cousin Leo Rosales is still to this day, the timbale player, was the timbale player for Malo, but is now got his own band. So he still plays in San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah. So every time he's got a gig, everybody goes. So yeah, that's one way to
I'm dancing for you.
just get rid of all of this stuff, Just dance.
We'll have to drop a beat towards the end, Ricky, and see what happens.
There you go.
This is funny because similarly for me, I love a good line dance. Like you give me a good get my boots on the ground. You give me a good line dance, I'm in my own little world. Like don't let my mom and my cousin be in the same space and we remix and line dances, all of that. But I will say though, just off of getting right out of work, getting in the car, blasting some old school 90s R&B, something that I can't sing, but I do sing, blast it and just roll down the windows and sing my little heart out.
Well, Misha, is it that you can't sing or you can't sing well?
So we'll just say I can't sing well. So sure, I can sing, just not well, and no
She's
one
like-
would want to hear it.
She's like, I just roll the windows down because there's strangers driving next to me, so I'm gonna hurt their ears. Because who cares? I'll never see them again. If you're ever in Denver and you hear just sounds coming out of car, you know it's Misha.
you know, it's probably me.
Jam into some
Bouncing off the
SWV.
Rockies, yes.
Exactly. If there's ever an avalanche, we know who caused it. That was a good question, Ricky.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the spirit of pivoting, excuse me, ladies, you both are absolutely amazing. You both, Mara, you have adult kids who are in Portland and New York. Misha, you got littles and you just out here in the trenches fighting for your life, sis. Work is easy in relation to coming home and being mom. So, Mara, what advice would you give Misha as a boss mommy of two littles that is also in leadership in her airport as well?
That's a good one. You probably do this already, but bring your kids to your world as well, you know, because what I find is you need obviously to be in their world, right? You know, but now that I love the story, which at the time was painful for myself, that I wanted to do both. And I did try to do both, right? The super mom, the superwoman thing. And, like, oh, there's a bake sale. No, we're not going to go to the store and buy some cookies. We're going to make some cookies. Okay. But then I also have to edit this brief that I have to file like the next day. Right. So then I would manage those two things together. And my kids saw this. I mean, they remember it, right? Where it's like, okay, we're going to do the cookies, and we're going to bake them. But in the 10 minutes they were in the oven, you're going to let mama basically edit the brief. And they're like, okay, deal. And I got to say, on the one hand, they're very accomplished professionals in their own right now, I give them that. But neither one of them wanted to follow in mama's footsteps as a lawyer because they saw mama work too hard, they told me. And so that said to me that, no matter how hard I tried, right, to do both, I don't feel bad because I think I've given them a lot, but yeah, bring them into your world. The best advice I can say is keep it as balanced as you can, but don't feel guilty about it because you just do the best that you can, right? But they will follow in your example. They will, I think.
That's good.
So, okay. Speaking of mothers, my mother my grandmother and my mother, they always had these sayings that as a kid I never quite understood, but they were impactful. I mean, if I was playing in the tub, my mother would say, "Boy, sit down before you knock your eye out," right? Or if you go to jail, I'll kill you. Stuff like that. That didn't make a lot of sense. So do you have one of those sayings in your life that either, Mara, you've used with your kids, or Misha, your parents used on you?
Your turn.
I think the one thing, but my mom still says this to me today. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so, my kids, and even still me. But I guess I got my payback. My kids are my payback to my mom. But it is something that you kind of have to keep, even professionally and personally. It's not necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. And so now adding different words to it, being able to own the impact of my words and not necessarily just the intent. And so, as they also say, hard head makes a soft. And so
Right.
she said, and we're still in that sometimes as well.
I heard that one too.
So I would say I laughed, Ricky, because the only thing I would routinely tell my son, because I didn't really have to tell my daughter much, but my son, is like, if you If you are going to be out there doing whatever you're doing, make sure it's in the boundaries of the city and county of San Francisco, because at least I know the judges and the DA, okay?
That's the flex. That is a mom flex.
I can't talk to the chief of police, but I might know somebody does, right? You know, but I would tell him, you know, that he's a good kid, because he was a good kid. He didn't get in a lot of trouble, but I would always say that, right? Because he's a boy, right?
Right.
For both of them, it's a little bit like just do what's right, you know. It's, and their father too, you know, just you know, always stand up for the truth and stand up for the community, you know, and they do.
I love that. Okay, Misha, I got one for you because I asked Mara one and I want to ask you one. So my husband has things that he wants to say, to Ricky's point, but the kids aren't old enough yet, but he's waiting. Like he's chomping at the bit for the moment to say like certain things. Are there anything like you grew up hearing or just things that you really just want to say to your kids, but they're not at that age yet, but you're the moment that they are, like you're like, I'm ready to pull the trigger.
No, so for those that know, especially my oldest, and even with my kids, I talk to them how I talk to you all. I mean, my son told me the other day he's gonna go somewhere where he feels appreciated. He's 5. So
Daughter, that's London.
Okay.
I
can tell you when he
this
finds
to
that place,
say-
right?
Yeah. I say this to say I kind of just talk to them now because I feel like when they get older, it might be too late. So, you know, some of the things they may not understand, but they get context clues eventually because again, my son told me he doesn't feel appreciated here. And I'm like, how old are you? So no, I talk to them now. We have those conversations now. Again, you know, when we talk about it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know, like I'll even tell my son, you know, you are free to express yourself and you are free to have your opinions. However, there's an impact and there's consequences for how you say certain things. And that's kind of how we just go through things. But you know, there's no playbook to parenting. You kind of got to figure it out, you know. Gentle parenting is the thing, but some people don't have those
They're
gentle
not
parenting
gentle
kids.
children.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I have 2 and they're polar opposites and I kind of got to just figure it out.
Yeah, Drew wants to threaten the Wi-Fi. He wants to get to the point where like they rely on Wi-Fi so like they can do something and he threatens to turn the Wi-Fi off. Like that's his thing. Like he just can't wait for that moment. And he's chomping at the bit. But they're not screen time kids, so like we'll see what happens.
See, with mom, it was throwing away some goldfish. Even though that was 2 years ago, he still talks about, you remember when you threw my goldfish away? And I'm like, I do. And do you remember what you did? And he remembers exactly what he did 2 years ago that caused the goldfish to get the food, not the pet. Sorry, I needed to.
I was
The
gonna say,
food.
dang, you cold
Goldfish
blooded
snack.
for that one. What the fish do?
Goldfish snacks.
Oh, you
I
talk.
saw everyone's face. That's what I was like, wait, it's food. It's food, not a pet. Not a pet.
Clarification is important.
Very important. Because we were all trying not to judge. Even the chat's like, whoo.
Sorry, y'all. I should have clarified the things you eat.
Okay.
No pets were harmed in Misha's house. Okay, guys. It was the goldfish, the goldfish crackers. Whoo. All right. All right, Misha, Ricky, bring us back because I think everyone was like, Lord,
I'm gonna
no wonder
try.
he don't feel appreciated. His pet goldfish, Nemo and them done got flushed down the toilet because he ain't listen on a Tuesday. You see?
Well, Tanya's saying she's not judging.
She said she's not judging
not
either
judging.
way.
Either way. All right. So superpowers.
Oh, let's get into it.
Do we have one?
I was just asked this recently, so I actually have an answer. Oh, see, back at y'all. Y'all thought y'all had me. So my
Wait a minute, I'm not finished with the question. So the question is superpower, do you have one? And what would be your kryptonite?
Oh, that was gonna be my follow-up question, Ricky. Dang.
I knew.
Okay. So I would say my superpower is being able to have tough conversations and then move on. Like I don't really hold grudges. I kind of can just take what you say, pull it out. And then like we can even go back and forth and probably even raise our voice. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, you want to go get some lunch? Like, we're still cool. It's all love. I think what would be my kryptonite though? Okay, Mata, you go with your superpower and then I'll be ready with my kryptonite.
Okay, so this is an interesting question because I've never really thought about this. I would say just based on, how I'm a very much of a relationship people person. So I would say, and I have relationships with everybody pretty much. That one of my superpowers is listening to individuals about their experience or who they are, and seeing if there's a connection somewhere, between us to kind of build on the conversation, or if we're, just getting to know each other. So like, for instance, if you're from California or you're from San Francisco, or you went to school here, or your a parent is a judge, something that connects, the speakers, or like in the professional world, you represent government, something to do the connection, and then start building the conversations around that, but also always listening, kind of waiting to hear, and then waiting, and then just kind of bringing it in. And I think that has been part of my success across the board in my entire life, whether it's my children, my parents, the neighbors, whatever. It's just colleagues, clients. Yeah.
All right, what about Lauren's question?
Kryptonite.
Monotony. I get bored easily. And so if it's like the same thing over and over again, or even like if it's a group of people and everybody has the same ideas and the same, like, I need things to get shaken up a little bit. Because if it's not, then it's like I check out. I'm ready to move on, or I'm ready to stir the pot. But monotony would be my kryptonite.
I'm trying to figure out like how,
She's like, I'm just all 100% superhero, no kryptonite.
No kryptonite.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if it's appropriate to say something like,
It's just us here.
huh?
I said,
Yeah.
it's just us here.
Like,
Just us here.
like just level of like impatience, or like, I try to say I'm a Mother Teresa of patience, but when it comes to family matters, like after, everyone's given up, I'm kind of like, I'm done. And then it's like, it's over, kind of thing, so I'm not sure that fits the description of kryptonite, but
Wait, Mara, okay, so you're the Mother Teresa of patience, but then patience is also your kryptonite. We need to really dig in deep here to understand.
yes.
Uh-oh,
No,
you
it's
opened it
true.
up, Myra.
It's true. I mean, but this is family. It's family.
Okay, professionally, you're the Mother Teresa of kryptonite, but when it comes to family, patience is not a virtue. It just,
Well, I would say my virtue is that I'm very patient, but then I get to a place where it's just, you're done, it's just, I don't know if that fits the kryptonite definition.
it doesn't. But as you know, the attorney in you did very well spinning that one.
Great. I'm gonna have to call you for coaching. That's good.
So if you want to know about her virtues, Ricky, it's patience.
Yes, patience.
Yeah.
Yes.
But only professionally.
And her kryptonite is not having a lot of patience for this question being asked again. Right.
Next.
That's great. That's good.
So
Well,
if you had, go ahead, Lauren.
No, go ahead. You had your hands going. I don't want to cut you off again. I'm trying to abide
I
by
was gonna. So you two, you didn't know each other very well before Legends of Leapers, correct, Misha, Mara?
correct.
So now you're best friends. Mara might be closer to retirement than you are, Misha. She might be. Misha is still, finding the top. What advice would you give each other? What career advice would you give each other, just, projecting yourself into each other's space. Misha, what advice would you give Mara and vice versa?
Enjoy retirement. Have
Wow,
fun.
you're kicking her out, huh? You're accelerating this move, huh?
Well, I mean, if she's close to it, and from the bio, it seems that she has had an amazing and phenomenal career. And I know it sometimes, I'm far from retirement, but just perception that sometimes people are afraid of what retirement looks like for them because they're so used to doing and being the doer and being the expert, and people are coming to you. And so when we talk about boundaries, I would say establish that boundary and go enjoy retirement. Like, go, your kids are grown. That means you can go hop on a plane and go be somewhere else on a beach with a coconut and an umbrella and all of those other amazing things, and go do the things that you now have time. And at this point, you've earned and deserve. So go have that long extended vacation on retirement.
I feel like Misha was speaking from motherhood. She's like, your kids are grown. Go. Live your best life for me. Please. Please go. A coconut, an umbrella. It was so specific. You also realize her mentor is 90 and still at it. So
Yes, that's right.
And that's great for her. But that might not be what you want.
Yes. That's
So I
right.
guess it goes back to like, but what do you want?
Mhm.
Do you want to stay in it? Or do you want to retire and then get back in it when you feel like it? Because that's also a thing where it's like, you
especially in
can
this industry. Yeah.
exactly.
I like that advice.
I think it's very wise advice. The good news is that because I'm now, I've got my own firm, right? And I know how to, I have and also a national, if you will,
Platform.
platform, or kind of, I wouldn't call it a play area, but kind of like I can
Clientele,
cross
yeah.
state lines,
Mhm.
that my competition is few by comparison, and then I can be very selective, right? And then I can pick the things that are meaningful to me, right? And it's not staying busy, because it's not about being busy, it's being impactful, so, and to me, retirement, like, I like to say, do I have grandchildren? I have a little granddaughter. She's 6 years old and she sounds whip smart like your little boy. She hasn't quite said though, she's appreciated, but it's like, for me, it's like, yeah, it's about family, spending more time with my family. But yeah, it's, keeping that balance where I'm impacting, as long as I'm able, what her future and the future of her generation, right, will have to live with. But yeah, I do, I have the privilege of being able to do both, enjoy, because of the Zoom experience. I could be in Buenos Aires, I can be in Paris, I can have this, I just happen to be in San Francisco right this minute. But yeah, so that's,
So she tells us.
yes, I am. So yes, but thank you so much. You've given me some good food for thought, and yes, I've thought about. You're not the first person that says, "Hey, what about a sabbatical?" Oh yeah.
What about your advice to her?
Well, I would say you're in a great industry. I mean, I have to say that when in my career, I was at the city attorney's office, and then I went to the airport, and then I went to private practice, and now I have my own practice. The best experience of all of that career was, in fact, at the airport. Being at the airport allowed me not just to focus on the aviation area and learning that as a professional, but having all of these relationships around the country, and it's, to me, it's the best, the fact that you are in it now. And I would definitely encourage you to, if you're interested, because I know you got the little ones, to kind of move up in your career, within the aviation industry. Because it's very, I think by comparison, it's very satisfying professionally. And it has a lot of reach. It has worldwide reach. So when you get closer to the place where you want to do more potentially, you've got essentially the world, you know, at your feet. But always, because you're a young mom and your kids are young, it's like my lesson for me, and I impart it to you, is, you know, don't beat yourself up if you can't do it all, right? You know, but yeah, the kids, no matter what they say, are looking, are watching. You're blazing the trail for your kids, which is mainly what it's all about sometimes as a parent, right?
Thank you both so very much.
I love that.
Remarkable panel members. I'm sure this will go down as one of the best. As you know, we read some of the comments that came out. So despite, you know, Lauryn's awkward and sometimes weird questions, you all made the best of this program. So we'll thank you so very much for that.
And no one's gonna let Misha live down the fact that we all thought she had flushed her son's pet goldfish down the toilet. So that's gonna stay with you, Misha. I just want you to know that.
Again, it was not a
I think
pet.
everyone's
It was
still
snacks.
everyone's still kind of recovering from that.
It was
I
snacks.
understand why he doesn't feel appreciated sometimes, because I'm recovering from
It
the
was
trauma that
snacks.
didn't even happen.
If y'all see him, you can ask him, and trust me, this is not a kid you can coach on what to say. It was snacks.
Yeah, go fish.
Uh-huh. Right.
Right, go fish.
Yeah. What she said.
That was good. Excellent.
All right. Thank you
guys
so much
Oh,
for.
Ramon's back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I am back. I'm
I
sorry.
had fun.
I
Thank you.
just woke up. No, thank you so much for this. I hope everyone has enjoyed Legends Leapers. Thank you to Mara and Misha, and of course, thank you to Ricky and Lauryn for hosting again another great roundtable. Not to say roundtable, great interview, and hopefully you found it as entertaining as insightful. And just as a reminder, again, please make sure that you renew your membership, because that again fuels our advocacy efforts, and our advocacy efforts are for you, all of you members. So with that, I will just remind you
Ramon,
that
do you mind
also,
if I say something real quick? Sorry, do you
of
mind if I
course,
say
go
something
ahead.
real quick? I would be remiss if I don't say this, especially with you talking about membership right now. I know that there's a lot going on in our country. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty. I know that there's a lot of questions of like the whys and why does it make sense and X, Y, and Z. But the programming that AMAC is doing right now to really hone in on the uncertainty is absolutely priceless. And Mara and Misha both talked about the solidarity and the coming together and the really trying to navigate and figure this thing out as a unit. And so now more than ever, I think it's so important to have AMAC in the forefront and representing as the only trade organization in this industry that is keeping women and minorities in the forefront and creating spaces for them and advocating for them. So please keep that in mind as Ramon talks about membership, but not just, you know, paying your membership dues, but also getting more involved. This is the time now more than ever. So, you know, be the change that you want to see. Sorry, Ramon, you can reclaim your time.
No, that is great. We are no more stronger than we are stronger together, and we need to be together in this time. So with that, this will be recorded, or has been recorded, and will be posted on our YouTube channel in the coming days. So you can watch Ricky and Lauryn do this all over again. And with that, thank you. Stay safe and have a blessed week. Take care.
Safe. Thank
No
you.
parents were harmed in the process.
No pets or parents.
No pets or
No
parents.
pets.
No pets or
Sorry,
parents.
parents might have been harmed, but no pets were harmed in the
There were-
process of
but
Misha
there-
trying to navigate gentle parenting.
But there were goldfish involved.
There were goldfish involved. We'll leave
It's
the
not-
rest up to your own imagination.
Thank you all for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
guys.
fun. It was fun. I didn't expect fun, but yes, this has been fun. Thank you.
You know, we gotta lighten it up a little bit. It's too heavy right now,
Absolutely,
Mara.
yes.
So
All
we're
right.
we're glad you came to have a little fun with us. Even
Thank you.
even
Thank
Ricky
you.
got in on it.
All right. Well,